All right, let's talk about the election because it's being reported that Joe Biden is supposed to announce
Tomorrow
through a pre-taped video.
Yeah, he's too busy to go live.
He's got to pre-tape it just in case there's a mistake.
Apparently, when Joe Biden returned from Ireland last week, they immediately started filming it. It's going to be this video that you're going to see tomorrow, probably everywhere. It's going to run between 90 seconds and 2 minutes long. And it sounds like Joe does some talking directly into the camera. Sounds like he did it there in Delaware. And, if past his prologue, he will make the announcement from Delaware. No details really have been announced, but we do know, and we were talking about this last week, Joe Biden declared he was going to run for president in 2019 on April 25th. And he's a very superstitious guy. It worked out for him. So we believe that tomorrow, somewhere, probably in Delaware, Joe Biden's going to say, you know what? We've had a good 4 years. I want 4 more.
Right. I don't know what 2.5 years he was looking at, but let's just say that maybe that'll be in the speech. The other thing, I think he'll use that. I don't have any sources on this, but my gut tells me he's going to use that clip when he gives advice to the Irish children. My advice for you is a Jesse Helms story and get a COVID shot. I'm pretty sure that would be in if he's going to shoot in Ireland. But this NBC poll has to be devastating, and I'm sure they hope this would not come out 48 hours before he's about to say, I want 4 more years. And that is when Democrats are asked, do you want President Biden to run again? 70% say no. When you break it down, 18 to 34-year-olds, 76% say no. If you voted for Sanders or Warren, 64% say no. And if they asked the 2020 voters of Joe Biden who voted for him, 53% say that they don't want him to run again. That's got to be a gut punch.
And almost half of them say the reason, it's his age. That's a major concern for 48% of them.
That's right. Brian, you mentioned Donald Trump for a moment, and according to the same poll, 1,000 people were queried. 60% say Donald Trump should not run. Right now, according to this NBC poll, it looks as if they were asked, who do you support? Would you support Joe Biden or the Republican? 41% say they would vote for Joe Biden. 47% said they would vote for the Republican nominee. Obviously, we don't know who the Republican nominee would be at this point, but right now we know that in the polls, Donald Trump has been leading. It's interesting. There was a Wall Street Journal poll that came out over the weekend by Tony Fabrizio that he's the pollster for Donald Trump. Ron DeSantis is leading Joe Biden by 3, and Donald Trump is trailing Joe Biden by 3.
Now, but in the NBC News poll, if you look at Trump and DeSantis, 46% of the GOP primary voters favor Trump. 31% said they would select DeSantis, and this falls right in the middle of James Comer, the congressman, investigating Hunter Biden and his business deals and which family members were involved. He said, we went to Treasury after a long battle.
Family? It's a big family.
It is. He says the Christmas card, there's not going to be anyone in the Christmas photo this year. He went to Treasury after a long battle, he says, just to have access to the Treasury reports. And he thought there were going to be 1 or 2 Bidens that were implicated in these bank violations. He said, we poured over thousands of pages of documents, and we now have 9, and we're still counting, Biden family members who were zinged by at least 1 bank for receiving suspicious wires, listen to this, from adversaries around the world. He's saying, what were they doing to get paid? There's no rhyme or reason for some of them to get money from our adversaries.
Yeah, here's James Comer.
Well, right now we have 9, but I believe in the end that number will be at least 12. I mean, this was the Biden family influence peddling scheme. And when people say, well, they were involved in ventures around the world, I haven't found a legitimate business on the Biden end, Maria. I found legitimate businesses that were paying the LLCs that were then turning around and laundering the money back to the Bidens. What do you do with this many family members of the president? I mean, there's not going to be anybody left for a Christmas picture if the DOJ did their job and went in there and indicted everyone that has any type of fingerprints involved in this influence peddling scheme. I mean, it's the entire family.
Yeah, if you look at overall what's happening, you don't see a lot of Democrats saying that this is a witch hunt anymore. I watched every Sunday show. Nobody said we got to find out what this whistleblower has to say about this. They're not just saying that it's a wild witch hunt to stop him from running again. In fact, the New York Times wrote this. The only thing I could say when the president says people have questions about him, he says the only thing he says is watch me. But they say Mr. Biden has given voters very few chances to do just that, watch him. And his refusal to engage with the public regularly raises questions about his age. The Wall Street Journal says, their editorial board says their very strong statement said, the public understands that Biden apparently won't admit that electing an octogenarian in obvious decline for another 4 years would be a historic mistake. So you have the family issues, the performance issues, that horrible display over and over again in Ireland, embarrassing as the world is closing in on us, and China threat has never been more concerning. Kellyanne Conway says all this stuff, adding in the Hunter scandal, let alone the fact that the stripper mom is suing Hunter, evidently, and trying to serve him because he's not paying child support and he's hiding out at the White House because of that. That is adding to Joe Biden's woes. Listen.
I think that this is going to hurt turnout for Joe Biden, and Joe Biden needs a very high turnout election for him to win a second term. That or a third-party candidate that allows him to squeak by with about 43% of the vote. This is very troubling to many independent voters. Why are voters independent? It's because that they don't like Republicans or Democrats. They don't like what goes on in Washington. Now people call themselves independent, not because they're not paying attention to politics, but because they are. He lost independence over Afghanistan. They don't approve of him more than disapprove on any core issue. They're going to be the first ones to vote against Joe Biden because of this family scandalabra. We now have a Biden scandalabra.
Okay, so last week when we last saw you on Friday, we told you about this whistleblower who apparently has asked for whistleblower protection from Congress so they can tell the story about how somebody, and it sounds like it is the Attorney General of the United States, has been misrepresenting the Hunter case and perhaps giving bad information, which is terrible coming from our Attorney General. Now we also know, and we detailed this earlier, that apparently it's going to be this week, the same week that his father declares he's running for re-election, that Hunter and his lawyers are going to meet with the U.S. Attorney and the Department of Justice up in Delaware, talking about that tax case against him and also potential criminal gun charges for filing a false statement when he was applying for a gun. So the confluence of all these stories all at once, you got a whistleblower, you got the AG maybe protecting Hunter Biden, you got Hunter Biden going in to talk to the U.S. Attorney David Weiss up in Delaware. Keep in mind, this all that meeting was set up before the whistleblower was announced. And so apparently it's one of those things that defense attorneys do. There's no suggestion charges are coming, but nonetheless, this is a big week, both good and bad, for the Bidens.
Yeah, and we have the intel community saying that they signed that letter, that it was Russian disinformation, the Hunter Biden story, right before the election.
Because they got a call. Hey, can you help us get reelected or get elected?
Exactly. Right. From Anthony Blinken, who worked for the Biden campaign, who's now our Secretary of State. Mike Pence was also asked when is he going to throw his hat in the race. If he decides to, he says it will be no later than June.
Right. Sununu says he'll make a call, too, before July 4th.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.